Okay, so a few years ago, I was a Peace Corps volunteer in South Africa, in a small village, and I had an occasion where I had to take an airplane flight to a small town called Richards Bay, which is about 2 hours away from where I was staying. And to get there, I convinced my host brother Zamo to take me there. And Zamo's funny for a few reasons. The first of which is that he's very interested in the fact that I'm an American, but not in the usual way that most South Africans are. Most people ask things like, what kind of food do you eat in America, or what kind of television do you watch in America? But Zamo's asking me questions like, do you know Barack Obama? And, do you know Beyonce? And, my answer to that is, yeah, I used to play basketball with Barack Obama, and Beyonce and I used to date. And full disclosure, I don't know Barack Obama, and you all have eyes, so, I don't think I need to sell you very hard that I've never dated Beyonce. So, he always just had this, and I told him, I was bullshitting him. But I think he still kind of believed a little bit of it. The other funny thing about him is he always called me his brother, as in, my brother, we're out of food, let's go to the store. My brother, do you want to get a beer? And this is just kind of a funny thing, to have someone call you, your brother all the time. So we get up in the morning, we're running a little bit late, we get in the car, we go to Richards Bay, and all of a sudden his phone rings. And I can speak Zulu, I understand the language, and the phone call goes something like this. Hello? No, I'm not going anywhere important. Yeah, I can pick you up, where are you? 5 minutes off the road? No problem, where are you going? 10 minutes off the road? Sure, I'll take you there. He hangs up, I'm like, Zamo, what the fuck? We were supposed to go to the airport. I gotta be there in and under an hour, and it takes like an hour 15 to get there tops. And he's like, oh, don't worry, my brother, we'll be fine. So he hits the gas, we end up picking up this girl and her friend, and right away, when he picks her up, I know, it's like, okay, I know what's happening here. He's got a crush on her, he wants to, do a favor. So I'm kind of rolling my eyes about the whole thing. So he gets in, and his whole, smooth move here is, they get in the car, and he leans over to me and says, my brother, put a CD in the stereo. Which is, that's a fine request, right? So I'm like, okay. So I open up the glove compartment, and inside are a CD set called Masters of Soul, volumes 1 through 13. I looked at it, I look at him, and he just looks at me and says, I love soul, my brother. So I'm thinking, Gladys Knight or Gloria Gaynor or whatever. And we're listening to it, we drop them off, but now we're really, really late. And he's kind of starting to catch up on this, that we gotta get going. So he hits the gas, and he's going 100 kilometers, it's like 60 miles an hour almost, regardless of the speed limit. Driving on both sides of the road, the shoulder, which actually isn't that atypical of South Africa, but he's doing it it doesn't matter where or what the traffic circumstances are. So we're going along, and then all of a sudden I'm just knuckles onto the dashboard thinking holy shit, I'm gonna die listening to Gladys Knight and the Pips. This is gonna be the end. I never thought it would end like this, So all of a sudden I see flashing lights behind us. I think, damn, we're getting pulled over. This never happens in South Africa unless, someone's hard up for a bribe or something. And so the cop pulls us over. He comes sauntering over. And Zamo rolls down the window and says, hey, I'm sorry we're going fast. My brother's got to go to the airport. Without a hint of irony that, my brother's got to go to the airport. Our mother is going to be furious if he misses his flight. And I got to get him there right now. The cop kind of looks at him and goes, shop, hamba, which means far out, get moving. It's okay. So we take off again, go to the airport. He comes screeching up to the entrance of the airport. I run out, I dash into the terminal, which is the size of this room. It's really, really small. I get through, I go onto the tarmac, because it's one of those really old, kind of, Air Force One style things where you have to walk out and climb the ridiculous stairs to get in. And as I'm getting into the airplane, I turn around, I see Zamo, and he's parked next to the perimeter fence that separates the tarmac and the parking lot. And he's doing the ANC comrade salute like that. Which, like Mandela and all those guys did, was kind of like, fight the power, fuck these white devils kind of thing, But they still do it. That doesn't really kind of mean the same thing now. They just kind of, do it. I did not reciprocate, so I didn't want to think that I was going to, blow up the airplane or anything. So I just kind of gave a little wave, got on. But what I really realized was that, we took like a literal detour in getting to the airport by picking these people up and took like a really backwards way to get there. But what it really was is that, for me to get to South Africa to do Peace Corps was a result of me getting laid off from a job that I absolutely hated, but I would never have had the courage to quit. And that was the precipitous of that. And then also, about a year and a half later, Zamo had ended up marrying this girl that we picked up. And a funny story is when I told him after we dropped him off, I said, you got to be really careful. This is like a total honey trap. And he looked at me very concerned. He said, my brother, you must tell me how to avoid this honey trap. And then at his wedding, like right before he's about to go down the aisle, he pulls me aside and says, my brother, sometimes the honey trap, it is nice.